Hyperrealistic in the heart of a lush, green valley, wrapped in the arms of ancient trees and the whispers of ancestral winds, there lay a peaceful village named Oguma. The huts were round with thatched roofs, the air always carried the scent of roasted yam, palm oil, and forest flowers, and the people lived by the rhythm of the land and the blessing of the seasons. Among the villagers was a girl named In, whose laughter danced like wind chimes in the morning breeze. Her skin was the color of sun-warmed shea butter, her eyes glistened like dew on mango leaves, and her spirit was as gentle as a river on a calm day. She was loved not only for her beauty but for her kindness. She fetched water for elders, shared her food with the poor, and sang sweet songs to comfort crying babies. In's father, Papa Ikemba, was a respected palm wine tapper, known for his strength and honesty. After the untimely death of In's mother, he raised In alone for several years. But as tradition encouraged, the elders insisted he remarry to restore balance to his household. And so he married Mama Oji, a woman from the next village, known for her skill in herbs, charms, and midwifery. At first, Mama Oji wore a mask of sweetness. She brought gifts for the neighbors, told tales by moonlight, and brewed healing teas for coughs and fevers. But when the door closed and the sun set behind the hills, her smile would vanish like a shadow swallowed by darkness. She watched In with growing hatred. How can this girl shine like the sun while I'm ignored like a dusty corner? She would mutter, grinding bitter cola in her mortar. Even the goats follow her, and the villagers call her Nwhe, the child of the gods. No matter what task Mama Oji gave her, In completed it with grace and without complaint. Whether pounding fufu, fetching firewood, or helping deliver babies with her stepmother, In never sighed nor frowned. And that only made Mama Oji more furious. Each night, Mama Oji would stand before her mirror of blackened glass, whispering to herself, "She has stolen all the light from this house. But I will return it to darkness." One day, while Papa Ikemba was away in the forest tapping palm wine, Mama Oji called In into the inner room. Her voice was low and sugar-coated, but her eyes were sharp and bitter. "In," she said sweetly, "you are no longer a child. It's time you learn real woman work. Tonight, after everyone sleeps, meet me under the old baobab tree at the edge of the forest. We will call on the spirits to bless your future." In, ever obedient, nodded. "Yes, Mama." As the stars blinked awake in the sky and the crickets began their nightly symphony, In quietly left her mat and walked barefoot toward the baobab tree. It stood tall and wide like a giant guarding the secrets of the land. Its bark was rough and gnarled, its roots thick and coiled like serpents beneath the soil. Mama Oji was already there, crouched beside a pot filled with herbs, snail shells, bones, and a small piece of red cloth. In her hand, she held strands of In's hair and the footprints she had secretly scooped from the sandy path leading to the stream. In stood silently, watching. Mama Oji turned sharply. "Stand there and say nothing," she hissed. Then she began to chant in a tongue that sounded older than the hills. The wind rose. The leaves rustled unnaturally. A strange blue flame danced in the pot, and the tree groaned like it was alive. Mama Oji's voice grew louder. "Spirits of the forest, I offer you a shadow. Take her peace. Take her beauty. Let her walk in sickness and shame. Let every blessing turn to dust in her hands." Suddenly, the wind stopped, the fire flickered out, a deep voice echoed from the baobab, "Not male, not female, just ancient and powerful, you dare curse the innocent. Her hands are clean. Her heart is true. We do not curse the pure. Your curse will twist. What you meant for harm shall turn to blessing." Mama Oji froze. Her mouth hung open, her arms trembling. In, unaware of the power exchanged around her, simply knelt and prayed silently, believing Mama Oji was teaching her a new rite. But the spirits had already moved, and the story had already begun. The moon floated high above the forest canopy, its silver light casting ghostly shadows on the earth. Beneath the mighty baobab tree, Mama Oji stood with her arms stretched toward the heavens, her mouth moving like the tongue of a snake, chanting spells older than memory. Beside her, the clay pot bubbled with a dark, bitter mixture, crushed lizard tails, dried snail slime, ashes from a crow's feather, In's hair, and grains of salt from Mama Oji's shrine. The smell was foul. Even the night birds refused to sing. In her other hand, Mama Oji held a calabash of blood, taken from a black goat sacrificed earlier in the evening. She poured it in a wide circle around the pot, forming a boundary that even ants refused to cross. Spirits of the forest, she called, her voice echoing like thunder trapped in a bottle. Come forth from shadow. Hear me now. The wind changed, leaves rustled without reason. The branches of the baobab creaked, not from age but from something awakening. Owls scattered. Crickets went silent. 3 ghostly forms emerged from the darkness, tall and robed in mist, with eyes like burning coal and faces hidden by bark-like masks. They hovered just above the ground, their presence chilling the air. We have come, they spoke in unison. Speak your desire, daughter of clay and bone. Mama Oji bowed low and stretched her fingers toward the glowing pot. There is a girl. In. Born of light and shadow. Too kind, too favored. She walks with peace, but I wish her chaos. I want her beauty to rot, her joy to crumble. Let her path twist and her destiny break. Let her voice bring misfortune and her hands gather dust. The spirits were silent, then one stepped forward, its voice deeper than the ocean. You call for a curse. But curses come at a price. Blood is not enough. Why do you seek to destroy her? Mama Oji's eyes flared. Because she has stolen everything. My husband's love, the villagers' praise, she walks in glory while I walk in dust. She must fall. The spirits turned to one another. A strange wind whistled through the tree's branches as if the baobab itself were listening. The second spirit raised its hand. We see her heart. It is clean. The third added, no poison lies in her thoughts. She harms none. She brings healing. Then, the 3 spirits turned back to Mama Oji. We do not curse the innocent. The order of nature forbids it. Mama Oji's face twisted in rage. Then twist it. Bend it. Break it. The flames in the pot shot up high, blue and red, forming shapes in the air, snakes, skulls, weeping eyes. The spirits seemed to fade and pause with the fire. She has stolen my power. Mama Oji screamed. She must pay. For a moment, all was silent, then the baobab tree groaned, and the spirit spoke once more, but not with anger. With prophecy. Very well, foolish one. You shall have your curse. But it will not fall as you wish. Mama Oji blinked. What do you mean? The spirit's voices merged like a river. What you meant for evil shall become her rising. What you thought would destroy her will crown her. You dig a pit, but you shall fall inside it. Your curse will become her blessing. Before Mama Oji could reply, a strong gust of wind blew the flames out. The forest fell silent once more. The spirits were gone. The calabash cracked. The pot tipped over, spilling its contents on Mama Oji's feet. She gasped and stumbled back, confused and angry. No. No. I gave the blood, I spoke the words, why did they not obey? But in the spirit world, intent carries weight. Her jealousy had poisoned her heart, and in trying to curse in, she had sealed her own fate. The next morning, In awoke feeling strange. Her chest felt heavy, her limbs weak. Birds no longer followed her, and people in the village began whispering that she had brought something dark from the forest. She must be cursed, they said. She no longer shines like before. Another muttered. Even Papa Ikemba grew worried, for his daughter no longer sang in the morning or played with the children by the stream. Mama Oji, of course, said nothing, only watching, smiling slightly, believing her curse had worked. But deep in the forest, where the spirits whispered and nature kept its secrets, a great blessing was beginning to bloom, and soon, all of Ogwema would know that no evil born from envy can dim the light of the pure-hearted. As days passed in the village of Ogwema, whispers turned into rumors, and rumors became judgment. In, once the jewel of the land, now walked with a bent back and pale face. Her laughter was gone, her eyes dimmed like a once bright lantern left in the rain. She carries a dark spirit, the people murmured. Something is not right. Mama Oji fanned the flames of gossip with carefully planted words. She wanders at night. She doesn't eat. Who knows what she's touched in the forest? Even Papa Ekemba, torn between love and fear, grew distant. You need help, he said. Perhaps your mother's spirit is restless. Perhaps. You must leave for now. And so, with a small bag of roasted yam, dried fish, and her mother's old wrapper, was sent away, alone, sick, and heartbroken. She walked toward the great forest, guided by no one but the path the ancestors had walked before her. Tears fell from her eyes, watering the dry earth. Yet her steps remained soft, her heart still prayed, not for revenge, but for peace. The forest welcomed her, though it was wild and full of mystery. Trees arched like giant arms above her. Birds followed her for a while, then vanished. She slept on leaves, drank from streams, and whispered songs to herself when the night became too long. One evening, after days of walking, she heard a cry, a sharp, pained cry like that of a wounded soul. She followed it and found an old woman, hunched and trembling by a fallen tree. Her leg was swollen, and she groaned in pain, "Please, child, help me." Though tired and weak, knelt and tore part of her wrapper to bind the leg. She chewed bitter leaf to draw out the swelling and stayed beside the woman all night, fanning her with palm fronds. By morning, the woman's pain had faded. "You are a blessing," she said. "What is your name?" "My name is In." The woman's eyes widened. "In, child of light. You do not know what lies inside you." Before In could ask, the woman vanished, like a mist in sunlight. In sat in silence, heart pounding. Was it a spirit? A test? Later that same day, as she wandered deeper into the forest, she stumbled upon a spring unlike any she had ever seen. The water shimmered like moonlight trapped in liquid form. Around it bloomed flowers that smelled of honey and cinnamon, and animals gathered, not in fear, but reverence. She knelt and drank. A surge passed through her, warm, strong, and pure. Her skin began to glow faintly, her limbs regained strength, and her sadness melted like morning dew. She stood, taller than before, her spirit awakened. Without knowing it, In had entered the spring of Ofo, a hidden place of ancient blessing reserved for those who suffer unjustly. As she traveled, word began to spread in nearby villages. There is a girl in the forest who heals the sick. Her touch is gentle, her eyes shine, and her spirit brings calm. Soon, mothers came with crying children, hunters came with wounds, and farmers brought their swollen joints. He never asked for payment. She only smiled and said, "I do this in peace." One day, a leopard limped into her clearing. Its leg was pierced by a hunter's trap. The animal growled, ready to defend itself. But In approached slowly, humming a lullaby her mother used to sing. She removed the trap gently and rubbed herbs on the wound. The leopard looked into her eyes and bowed. It vanished into the woods without harm. That night, the forest spirits gathered above her hut made of branches and palm leaves. They whispered to the wind, "The curse is blessing. The exile is elevation." She walks now in purpose, and her name shall echo through generations. Back in Ogwema, people were puzzled by strange happenings. The land grew dry. Mama Oji's herbs lost their power. Her pot cracked. Her chants brought silence. But news soon reached the village. The healer in the forest is none other than In. The same girl they rejected. The same girl they whispered about. And Mama Oji's face turned cold with fear.